Hey viewers, my name's Cara. This is shelf number 3 in my bookshelf series, and I had to re-record it because I lost it the first time around, so this video looks a little different than the other videos except shelf 2, which is the last one you saw, the one that's behind me in videos. So shelf number 3 we're gonna cover now, this one right down here. We're skipping over the one that's just CDs and movies and going to books. So first thing on this shelf, all the way on the left, are some baby photo albums that my mom had for me when I was born, you know, a toddler, things like that. The next thing I want to show you is this stack of books in front, which are books that I was thinking of maybe selling because I either didn't like them as much or just didn't need them or didn't finish reading them. So this stack of books makes me look really bad. But this is Chromosome 6. I read it for Genetics, Identity, and Popular Culture, and actually I really liked this book, so I don't know what I was thinking when I put it in the maybe for sale pile. It's about scientists who are genetically modifying bonobos to be a match for human beings, and so they're putting human DNA into bonobos so that each human who pays for it can automatically have their own match in a bonobo to be an organ donor if they ever need it, and there are some problems with that because it's like there's too much human DNA, they're becoming too human, la la la. So it's really interesting. This is Darwin's Radio by Greg Bear. It was also for that same class, except we never actually ended up using it, so I bought it and then we removed it from the syllabus. So I haven't read it, but I heard that I would really like it. I don't know if I'm gonna read it, I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. This is just another copy of Tim O'Brien, The Things They Carried, which is the last book up there. This was somebody else's copy that they wanted to get rid of, so I rescued it. The White Castle by Orhan Pamuk was from my World Lit class, and I never finished reading it. Heat and Dust by Ruth Prower-Javala, I also never finished reading. It was for World Lit. This next one was also from World Lit. Kaddish for an Unborn Child by, I cannot pronounce that name. Didn't read that either because this one we actually removed from the syllabus. We didn't have time because all the books were taking so long for people to finish if we even finished them, so we removed that one. The Waiting Years was the second book from that class, and so I actually did finish that one because it was before we started getting behind. I really enjoyed that. Fumiko Enshi. Drown by Juno Diaz. Didn't finish reading this one. See, this is why it makes me sound really bad because I didn't finish any of these. And Distant Star by Roberto Bolaño. Didn't finish reading that one either, but these were all from World Lit, and the reason I didn't finish reading most of them is because there were so many books for that class. This isn't even all of them. There were just so many books and we could not keep up, so that's the stack of books that makes me look bad. These are pamphlet things from the Medieval Fair, when the Medieval Fair used to do those. This is a little diary from the Scholastic Book Fair that I threw a fit over because I wanted it and I didn't have the money for it, and they told me I could come back later and buy it, and then I came back and they didn't have it, or I thought they didn't have it, but it turns out they had misplaced it because someone put it aside for me to come get it or something like that. Whatever, I thought it was gone, so it was this big cry fest, and then my mom bought it for me, and so I actually didn't end up using it very much, but I keep it just because it meant so much to me. It would be such a terrible thing for me to get rid of it now. And it's very pretty, so I really still like it. And this is just a blank book with a velvety, soft cover and silver-edged pages. Blank pages, so I haven't used it yet. Now, getting into the actual books, we have Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell, which I first read in high school, I think. I really like this book. George Orwell, Animal Farm. I read 1984, and I don't own that yet, and we read it at the same time that we read Brave New World and stuff like that, and so I just wanted something in kind of that area of writing style, so I got Animal Farm at a garage sale, and I love it. This is a new one that I mentioned before, Edgar Allan Poe, 10 Great Mysteries. Tamara Pierce, Wild Magic. I got this from my cousin. It's The Immortals. Pledged, The Secret Life of Sororities by Alexandra Robbins. This is a book that my friend actually got as a present in a White Elephant gift exchange, and I really wanted to read it because I did a paper in high school about this kind of stuff, like about things like Mean Girls and the Clique series, basically the politics of girl world type stuff, and that's exactly what this book is about. The author went undercover and spoke to real girls at sororities all over the country, I think. A lot in the South. I don't actually remember. Obviously the names have been changed, but it's real stories about either how stereotypes are not correct or how the real thing is actually worse than the stereotype in most cases. It's really interesting. I haven't finished reading it. This is another new book, so I've already talked about it, As We Are Now by May Sarton. Black Beauty, classic, obviously, Anna Sewell. A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. I have not read this book, but I've seen the movie, and I like it. But I will read the book. That's why I got it from whatever garage sale or something where I got it. Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli is something that I got that in high school and absolutely loved. This was another case where we could choose the book. We had to choose one of 5 books, and then we would be reading that one throughout the semester and do our project on it or whatever, so I chose this one. Here we have the Unicorns of Valinor series by Mary Stanton. There are 8 of them. I only own 6, but I've read them all. This is what the first one looks like. It's a story of a princess, and everybody in this world has like a bonded unicorn, which is like their companion, and it's their special one, and so it's like she, you know, fighting evil and stuff. John Steinbeck of Mice and Men. Enough said. I read it in high school. J.R.R. Tolkien, The Fellowship of the Ring. I haven't read all of this book, nor have I read the other ones, and this is the only one that I own. I used to have The Hobbit, but I think it was actually maybe my mom's, and I started reading that one numerous times, but still haven't finished that either. And I don't have it here, so this is the only one I have. Please don't hate me. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Mark Twain. Read it in high school. Don't remember if that's where I got this specific copy. Some of these books may have just been given to me as well. Kristen Lavransdatter, Daughter, Part 1, The Wreath by Sigrid Undset, was also from World Lit, but this is one that I actually read all the way through because this was the first book that we read, and I really enjoyed that one. This next one is by John Updike, Gertrude and Claudius. It's another Hamlet story, but it's written from the point of view of Gertrude and Claudius. I think mostly from Gertrude's point of view. I read it freshman year of college for a class where we were talking about Hamlet and other versions of Hamlet. Blitzcat by Robert Westall is a new one, so I mentioned that in a previous video. Up here we have tutoring writing and the transition to college writing, which are things that I needed because I'm a writing assistant. This case right here contains my mother's Bible that she gave me when we were doing a Bible study type thing, and we had to take it with us every week. So this was my mom's Bible that she gave me, and it has a little notepad in the front, which is Garfield, and some just little booklet type stuff from the church. This is my little tiny New Testament Bible that I had ever since I was little, and I was taking the PSR catechism classes at church. That's what my handwriting looked like when I was 5. This is my first communion book. I did make my first communion. I was never confirmed. And it has a little how to pray the rosary thing in it, which I do know how to pray the rosary, and I used to have to do it. And it came in handy because this past year I played Mother Teresa in The Last Days of Judas Iscariot, and so I had to be holding the rosary and praying the rosary because Mother Teresa always had her rosary. The Children's Bible, which is an illustrated Bible stories type thing. These 3 books are from a class that I took called Bishops, Witches, and Heretics. It was a history course, but it was about the medieval church. These 2 books I'm not sure I want to keep, but I still have them because I didn't know that we could sell books back at the time. So we have The Western Church in the Middle Ages, critical scholarly articles type thing, and then we have Heresy and Authority in Medieval Europe, which is more of the same kind of scholarly article stuff. This book, however, I do want to keep, and the plastic covering has been coming off since I bought the thing, but it's a reader, Medieval Saints. It's all the stories of all the medieval saints, edited by Marianne Stuke. And then these 2 books down here are The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren and The Purpose-Driven Life Journal, because my mom and I were doing the series with the church about it, and each week we went in and we did the weekly topic thing, so that's why I had this case. That was from that point of time. Past that, we have just textbooks. There's Critical Theory Today, which was from my freshman year of college, and I want to sell it. It's all kinds of different literary theories, like Marxism, feminism, other isms through which you can analyze literature. The Practical Guide to Calligraphy, which is just a book that came with a calligraphy set that my mom and I had. Student's Guide to the Internet is a book that I was required to get in high school, and it's absolutely worthless to me now because I don't need it anymore, so it's just still here. The Magic Garment is a costume design book that I had to get freshman year of college, so I'm keeping that forever in case I ever need to reference it. I have books on making bead and wire jewelry, and these little kinds of booklets about making jewelry. Recordings that go along with this book, Soundscapes, which is a textbook from the class Music in a Changing World, which was my freshman colloquium, and then I TA'd it the next year as a sophomore. History of the Theater, Brockett, which is like theater history go-to book, basically. Book of Comic and Dramatic Monologues. Someone gave this to me because they know I'm an actor, but I don't think any of these are from plays. I think these are all from, like, old stars from, like, shows and things like that. I don't know, really. But I don't think any of them are from plays. They're all shorter, independent pieces. Theatrical Design and Production, Gillette. It's the technical production, theater design go-to book, just like Brockett is for history. And then I have a book of flute solos, because I play the flute and piccolo. Newspaper clippings from the really big oil spill that some of my friends friends actually helped with cleanup of because they're in environmental studies and they work with animals and stuff, and some iron-on decals that I haven't used yet. So that is shelf number 3. The next 2 videos will be from the other shelf in the other room behind me, which will be my drama shelf and then my witchy shelf. And then after that, we just have the books left that are at college and therefore not on my bookshelf at home. So thank you for watching this far. Look out for the others later, and I will see you next time. Bye!